What is the number?
Episode 5.
Okay, 5th.
All right. Welcome, everyone. We're episode 5 tonight, wherever you are. And it's going to be about contributing to Leap, as well as going into the tools that we have, the features we have, and how we can do this with SLE packages and SLE itself. So Lubosh is going to kind of cover it. And feel free to comment on the side if you're interested. And, for myself, we'll interject if we have to. So go ahead, Lubosh, take it away.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me here. So we've had already workshops about how to submit your initial package to factory, right, to Tumbleweed. We've had OBS basics, so you actually know how to work with tools. And let's talk about why you should actually contribute to Leap and how to do that. So Leap is, if you don't know, Leap is probably the most downloaded distribution out of the openSUSE project, I would say. As far as numbers goes, let me screen share so you can actually see where to get it from. So as you know, we have few distributions, right? Tumbleweed, which most of the contributors will be focusing on, and then Leap. You can see also 15.6 beta, which is currently the hottest as far as Leap goes. Then Leap Micro and MicroOS, which is essentially Tumbleweed. So let's actually have a look at these two. If you know how to submit things to Tumbleweed, submitting to Leap shouldn't be a problem, but Leap is a little bit special. If you would open packaging for Leap, which is one of the wiki pages, let me send it to the chat. It mentions actually. Whoa, I have to close that, otherwise I will hear echo. It mentions a few things. It mentions that that Leap actually consists of community packages and packages from SUSE Linux Enterprise. And that's like, that will be one of the complications that you have to get along with. This document or the page, Packaging for Leap, describes the entire project, the layout. If you scroll through, you will see that we have actually multiple projects, which is where people actually go wrong initially. We will cover that in a minute. But for the beginning, it's good to realize that it's community packages where everybody is free to contribute as long as everything builds, right? That's important. And then you have the packages from SUSE Linux Enterprise, which we kind of refer to as the stable core of the distribution. And these actually require a little bit more effort, right? Because we are literally updating the package in SLES, and then we inherit it to Leap. And that's something that you have to keep in mind. So it may not take like 1 minute, 5 minutes. It may be a longer effort. You may get like special permissions or approvals on your feature requests. So let's say that you are packaging a package which requires update of some library in SLES. What would you do? So if you really know what to do, you can just do the submit requests, and that's described below. We can mirror them. But let's suppose that you are a beginner that just started to package. You've submitted your package to Tumbleweed. And in order to actually get it in Leap, you have to update one library. So first, maybe it's important actually to check whether it's coming from SLES or not. I think that's one aspect that we should definitely know how to do. I do it very easily, and you can do it too. Just go to the openSUSE Leap project in OBS. That would be project. You can just look it up in search. That will work too. But this is the URL, right? So let's say, to make it simple, we know that, for example, Bash would be inherited from SLES. But you can actually look in packages for Leap. So it's not in Leap. Let's look if it's actually inherited from somewhere else, Bash. And I can see that it's actually inherited from SLES 15 SP4, okay? And this is where the problem happens. So you maybe need to update it to a newer version, right? You can click through, you can actually see what the version is and so on. But let's say we have to update it. So what do? You can for sure fork the package, just like you would do with any other package in factory and so on. But then actually you have to submit it to SUSE 15 SP4. And that's tricky. It's not a typical submit request. It it actually requires what we refer to as mirroring of requests in between OBS, where we build the community part, and IBS, which is the SUSE internal build service. And this is where it gets a little bit messy. So let me actually look up the mirroring. On the packaging side, you can actually find the reference here, right? Updating package in leap, and in case of SUSE SLE, it has to be mirrored. Details are not important. The important part is that somebody has to review it and mirror it. And that can be a little bit frightening at the beginning. So what I would actually recommend instead is just go to our feature tracker, which you can easily find in the packaging. I think it's in the section right here, public feature tracker. And here you can actually describe your problem. I'm trying to update package XYZ, and I need to update certain library, right? And we can actually help you. Like memtest is, for example, also example where we were updating package in SLES. And we can coordinate here. And that's what I would recommend everybody who is actually stuck on updating the package and figure out that he actually has to touch something in SLES. Just open a feature tracker, easy as that, and we will guide you through the rest. You don't have to read even the wiki pages. That would be the first good recommendation. If you are lucky and you just update community package, which doesn't have like very sophisticated dependencies, maybe one or two, and they are both community packages, or you don't have to update anything, then it's basically the same as Tumbleweed. But again, it goes back to mixing of SLE and leap packages. You have to know where to send the update or the package to. And that goes to the structure of the project. Can I just stop screen sharing so we can like talk? Yeah, good. So as again, community packages, SLE packages, right? And we have to mix these two together, which creates a little bit of complexity on the project layout. So you have, in fact, 3 projects. One is called backports, openSUSE backports, where we actually keep all the community stuff. So if it's community package, it goes to backports. I will show the exact project name later. If it's something which is in SLES, then it goes to SUSE SLE project, which in fact is in IBS. And if it's openSUSE branding related, then it goes to a project called openSUSE Leap, which is, I would say, confusing because normally you would just send everything to openSUSE Leap and you would expect that's correct place, right? It's not the case. That's literally for branding packages. But we have a nice little, how would I call it, trick that if the package already exists within Leap and you're just trying to update it, it will actually redirect submit request where it should be. So let's go now to the screen share. And I will show you the project layout. I think it was on the, where was it? Teaching Leap, right? 175, so it's readable. And it goes to the project structure. And so here we go. You remember how I mentioned backports? So again, we have all the projects listed. So let's say that you are updating package in Leap 15 Leap 15.6, or maybe you are adding new package. If it's something which is not concerning any sort of openSUSE branding, icons and stuff, it's literally a tool. This is where it should go. You can see that we have over 9,000 packages too, including all the games and stuff that you would normally find in Leap. So this is where you submit it, not openSUSE Leap 15.6, but backwards, okay? And it's also described here. If this is for updates, that's after release, doesn't have to concern us at the moment. Here you have openSUSE Leap 15.6. That is common mistake. So if you are a new packager, you want to submit your package that you just submitted to Leap, you should not submit it here. You should always submit it to backwards, right? Here, if you actually check what's inside the project, which is I think the most useful thing that I can show you, it's literally, slightly over 100 packages, and most of them are related to branding. You can see that they have openSUSE suffixes or product building things, specific branding, which should not be in SLES, or we actually kind of change the behavior if you build it in SLES or Leap. These are all the packages branding related that should be here, and kernel modules. So that would be the case for Leap 15.6. as long as it's an existing package, you can always submit it to lib15.6, and we have a little trick that redirects the submit request to backports if it's packaged in backports, but I strongly recommend people just to stick with backports. Once you are actually trying to introduce a new package to release, I don't know, lib15.5, you would actually use something like openSUSE backports lib15 sp5 update, okay? But not during development. Like right now, we are at beta. We will be soon transitioning to RC. This is really where you want to contribute. If you are RV7 enthusiast, then yours would be a step project. But I think that the target audience is probably not interested in this one. So when it comes to non-free packages like Opera, I don't know, and stuff that we kind of built from binaries, not from source, then we have the non-free project. You can also check what we have. I think there's Opera, a few libraries, some firmware packages, and that's basically, yeah, and Steam, right? So I would suppose this won't be the case for most. So again, what you are interested in is the backports, okay? And again, the way why the project is structured so difficultly, in a so difficult way is because we are trying to mix packages for SUSE Linux Enterprise with community packages and ship it for SUSE SLE users in form of package hub and for community users in form of lib, which kind of forces us to use such structure so we can rebrand packages and so on. So sorry for the complexity, but that's the cost for actually mixing SLE binaries with community packages. So that would be the structure. I really recommend people to remember two things. So I'm trying to update package. First, check where it's coming from. If it's coming from backports, like in case of, I don't know, KDE. You can see that this is a backport package. If you are looking for something for SLES, you will see SUSE SLE. Therefore, the updates has to go to SUSE SLE, which is basically a mirrored project. You can still see the package and everything. You will not be able to see build results or anything because we are literally syncing sources with rsync in between internal SUSE build service and external, external OBS. But you can make submit requests. I think that we will even have some, if I go to, wait a second, let's do SP6 GA project. I think that we have some requests in here. Maybe they will be already cleaned up. Yeah, some of them are here. So for example, Axel is actually submitting requests against SLES. As mentioned, somebody has to manually mirror them. And that's where it's not very easy because we don't have two-way synchronization of comments and states in between submissions. So state submission in OBS may be getting activity, but unfortunately we cannot simply project it to the public service. So it really requires manual communication, email, or even better would be inside such feature, for your package, where we can help you and make sure that you can succeed in getting it working. Again, ideally, all the submissions should happen before the beta. With beta, we would like to already start stabilizing the distribution. But as far as you are maybe just adding something community related to lib, and we don't have to touch SLE binaries, like we can add stuff also after the beta. But any changes to SUSE Linux Enterprise, these guys get really conservative with beta and even more with RC and so on. So we really have to plan in advance, which is the key of getting changes to lib. If you are looking for some example on how to actually build package for multiple distributions, let's say that you would like to build a package in a different way for Tumbleweed, lib, slow roll, which is, for example, the case of definitions of our repositories. Let me again go to, can somebody paste it to the chat? I'm not sure if I can go here. Maybe I can. Let me just, right. Hello. Here, you can actually check this. Oh, guys, can somebody please write this comment inside YouTube? Like I can't do it. Doesn't seem to be. So just copy it and
Yeah, I can do it.
Yeah, thank you, Deck. So yeah, if you look up really easily openSUSE repos, we can just go to the project openSUSE repos on GitHub, and then you can go to our spec file. You can actually see how we build it for different versions. By the way, these SUSE versions, they usually correspond right with the release. So you have 15.5 and corresponding digits. If you are interested in details and you really want to understand how it's done, again, go for packaging for Leap. And we have a very nice table, right, of all of these versions, corresponding SUSE version, SLE version, which should always correspond. You can see SP0, SP1, right? And so on. SP5, SP6 should have 15.0600. Not sure why there is 15.000. That should be corrected. Here it seems to be correct. So you can actually do that. I think it's typically you will use it for like not exact version, but you will say, okay, so maybe in Leap, this library that I need is only available since Leap 15.2. So I would only make sure that we build it on SUSE version larger than 15.200, something like that, right? That would be the typical use case when you have to diverge from Tumbleweed. Here we also built for slow roll. So I really recommend to actually use this as some sort of guidance on how can I actually make sure that builds against Leap or even Leap micro, which we have covered. We have a macro in the RPM spec is Leap micro, which can actually ensure that this code actually gets triggered only on Leap micro, and then you kind of drive with if analysis the entire build process. So really a nice case study. It covers actually all of the distributions that we currently have, which is why I would like to use it as a reference. And this package is related to branding, openSUSE repos, right? So of course it's hosted. It's hosted here in 15.6. That's why we don't have it in backport. So it doesn't actually end up in Package Hub because then SUSE customers would get to install it, which is unwanted, right? Which is why we keep it separate as a branding package to kind of get you, some understanding of why we actually have this project separated from backports. So you can see it here. So use this. It's kind of easy. I actually got inspired by Neil Gompa and his, I believe, RPM repos openSUSE package originally. Yeah. So nice case study. Any comments on the YouTube, Doug? We are roughly at 12 minutes. So if I could summarize it in like 5 points, I want people to remember that we have a Leap features project on Pagure. Again, if I may ask you to paste the link, just go code openSUSE.org, Leap features issues, and you can just report, hey, I need to get this library updated so I can do X, Y, Z, and we will help you. In most, you cannot expect that we will update something community for you. There it's always up to maintainer, or if you want to help, you can do it yourselves. But this is mostly for cases where really you need coordination. Maybe some of the dependencies needs to be touched on SLE side. This is exactly the place where we want to track it. Typically, what I would do is I would open corresponding Jira, right? We have them linked here, for example, for Boost. We would have internal discussion like, do we want to do it in SLES, or should we actually move the change to openSUSE? In this case, Boost is special. To give you this little story, we actually have multiple versions of Boost in SLES, but I think one of the last versions was actually also parallelly offered in Leap in form of compat package, right? That the version is part of the package name, so we can actually distribute them parallelly. And it was decided that we will implement it in openSUSE, but that happened after some discussions internally. So if you see some linkage to Jira, definitely there is some discussion happening on background. Also, if you would get to submitting the submit request to SLES, it's always important to reference this Jira. So if I would be updating Boost, I would always, and we will guide you in the code request, which is why I think that it's good that we would use that. we would actually say that you need to use this reference in the submission in case that you want to submit it to SLES. Otherwise, it will get rejected. I will have to get back to you, and you will have to resubmit. So if you do that ahead of the time, that will save you a lot of time. Right, but again, you will learn this all if you open the request. So any questions? Should I open the chat? But I'm afraid that if it's live, then I will have echo on my side, right? Comments, sorry, dark lag.
I don't think you'll have any echo. And actually, I'm not sure if your view sees the chat on the.
Yeah, I can see the chat.
Yeah. So.
So any questions? So basically, code openSUSE.org /leap/features if you need something complex that touches sleep packages. To figure out whether some dependency that you may need to update is from SLES, just go to the openSUSE project as I showed you. Go to inherited packages, type the dependency that you're looking for, my library or Qt something. You will see if it's coming from backports. You can freely update it basically. Or freely, you have to make SR. We actually go through staging, we review it, we make sure that it doesn't break the product. But generally, we don't have to go to another instance. We are just doing it publicly, and it will be probably straightforward unless you have some, as long as it builds. And you can mute the tab. Good point, Ari. But I can see I can see the comments, but somehow I cannot. Maybe. Yeah. Oh, okay. Now I can comment too, which is perfect. So I don't even have to go to YouTube. So yeah, as I said, if you can submit it to backports, then we go through stagings, everything builds perfect. We will accept it. We may need like legal review, which I'm doing on Leap. That will probably delay you by half a day or so. It's manual review process. I just look, and if I don't see anything suspicious, I just approve it. But if the package is in Tumbleweed and there was already a legal review, that's not a concern. And then it's really up to, does it build? And if it doesn't build, we have to fix the build dependencies, which will be the case, because keep in mind that sometimes we are held back by certain versions of libraries in SLES, right? They may be older than what's in Tumbleweed, and that's on purpose. Enterprise customers don't want always latest greatest, right? They want like transition over the time and so on, and some scheduled updates. And if you need to update something, then we have to talk. And ideally, in the feature request, you can also submit the request, or we can request to have it updated from the SLE side. And it will take a little bit longer, which is basically the difference from Tumbleweed. So it's really the coordination, making sure that we are not breaking anything from SLES. You can't expect that, SLES will change the kernel to latest, right, in some update release. So we have to be realistic here.
Lubash, would you mind just partially discussing the kernel? Because I know that's a topic that people don't quite understand, I think.
So kernel is tricky, right? So Leaps, since 15.3, we are actually reusing the very same kernel from SLES. So that means not just that we take the sources, we rebuild it, but we literally take binaries, SUSE assigned binaries, which were built internally in IBS, we sync them over, inherited to Leap, and we have the very same kernel standard, right, as SLES. We can build K-mods for it, for example, which is, you will actually find some of them in openSUSE Leap 15.6 project for 15.6 and 15.5 for 15.5 and so on. But the difference is that kernel is signed actually with SUSE key, not with openSUSE, and that's a little bit tricky. We are doing things in Leap that we kind of treat the signatures of openSUSE and SUSE on the same level. Therefore, this works also with RPM package signatures and so on, but it's something to be aware of, okay? So, and all the modules are actually done in that way as well. So if you would forward the kernel, for example, for your own purpose, you have to expect it will be signed with something else. But I guess Doug was more referring to the version, right?
Yeah.
If you really want updates, right? So we are held back, right? Like whatever SUSE decides that they want to use as a kernel, Leap has as well. You can enable if you want newer kernel and you are fine with not being able to run like proprietary drivers from NVIDIA. You can actually use kernel of the day, which is one of the repos in OBS, and you can have newer kernel. But our kernel is really given by what's currently in the latest release, SUSE Linux Enterprise to the date, right? So the latest is SUSE Linux Enterprise 15 SP5, and currently developed is 15 SP6. So Leap 15.6 beta has kernel from SUSE Linux Enterprise 15 SP6, period. SLES has two types of releases. They have TikTok model, right? So they have a feature release followed by a little bit more conservative release. Typically, you would see the kernel update in the feature release, while we wouldn't probably touch the kernel version, not the release, but the version in the maintenance release. And that's something to be aware of. Also, expect that if we would be trying to package something for Leap, for example, and there is like a LTS version of the software versus like latest greatest, we would always go for the LTS, which is the same with kernel, which is the same with KDE. And that's the material for Leap. We really want to have stuff which is supported long-term and kept up to date and secure. I think this would be basically what we would like to have Leap in, and kernel is a good example of that. Any questions to that? Mm-hmm.
Well, and sometimes, you'll see like when we come out with a new Leap, you'll see like, why didn't they pick this LTS kernel? I think there's just a understanding of what.
Exactly. Like SUSE, SUSE has some discussion with partners, right? They have some expectations. We have some expectations. They request something. We want to reflect these requests, do some internal decisions, and there is probably pretty good reason why we actually have certain version. But don't get fooled. So we, especially in feature releases, we actually backward a lot of like drivers and everything from newer versions. That's what we are paid for. So you may see fairly, I don't want to say old, but older version of kernel, but it's very likely that it has like backward stacks from newer versions based on these requests from partners. If you need particular feature, particular driver, and we are in like alpha phase, you can make that request and we can actually consider it for sure. Just depends on how much does it burn us, right? Like, do we need that change? And if so, we will do it, and that's how it works. So if you complain that something is not in there and you didn't request it in the alpha phase or during beta phase, then don't blame us, right? You've seen where to request.
Also, like I think like it's very important to emphasize when we get these alpha and beta phases, like it's the point to test this stuff. I know that sometimes
beta is already too late, right? So test yes in beta. Request in beta is kind of getting late, and that's where we are getting again to the sleep part. So testing is perfect. You don't want to test early alphas. I do, because it gives me some idea of like how the product is doing. But you want to install it with beta. But again, if you are a contributor, you want to check a little bit earlier, because with beta, ideally, all features should be inside the SLES. So SLES has several betas before it goes to public beta. Our Leap 15.6 beta corresponds with the very last public beta, as they call it. And, it gives us like maybe half a year since like June to, I would say, February to actually get as many changes in as possible. So, if I will tell you are late for 15.6, requested for 16.0, which will be the next version, right? And now is maybe a good time if you need to do something large on SLES side. If you need to significantly change something, this would be a good time typically for next release. And so all the changes in before beta, after beta, mostly bug fixes. As far as community packages go, we have flexibility as far as Leap packages go. I can make a request. I cannot guarantee it will be accepted, maybe rejected, because it's risky change. It would rebuild 50 packages, 500 packages, 4,000 packages in SLES. Updating glibc, don't expect that after beta. We've done it in RC in the past, but it was exception. Stuff like that. It has proper time, and that's before public beta.
Cool. Well, I think we could probably call it.
Yeah, I would call it. Guys, so remember, if you complain that something's not fresh in Leap, request it early. If you need to touch some Sleep packages, please open feature in code openSUSE.org/leap/features. Tell us what you are trying to do. We will help you out. You don't have to study all these wiki pages. We will point you to. You just have to ask. But please expect that you have to do your part. We will be happily assisting you, but somebody has to do the work. And it can't be one person, right? And that's all. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, reach out to me or write comments on the YouTube videos. We will be checking it. Or just, join factory mailing list, and we can have that discussion there too.
Or join our community meeting.
Or go to the bar. Yeah. And
go to
did I mention it? Are we still live? We have that Leap feature review meeting every Monday. It's mentioned on the wiki page, okay? The Leap packaging. It's every Monday. You can also find it at calendar openSUSE.org, which I'm going to show because people need to see that. You want to see calendar openSUSE.org. Every Monday, we have a feature review meeting. You can just join by clicking, and you can say, hey, I'm Jane Doe. I need to update my package, and I'm blocked on these SLES libraries. Please help me out, and we will help you out. Tools may not be perfect, but we are here to help. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Luboš.